This is the L2C Media Network, and this is Steve Baxley Sports Final. Welcome to a Sunday fun night. Now, we're sponsored by the L2C Media Network and YouTube. Now, with all the headlines and details in a not so mild Sunday sports day and night, here's Steve the Baxman Baxley. Hey, how are you? How's it going, everybody? Steve the Baxman Baxley here. Thank you, Harry. And that's right. There we go. That's right, folks. We are bringing you football and some other little stuff that we got for you on the night shift tonight. Let's get going, shall we? By the way, if you notice, we're no longer using hi there. We're no longer using this. Hey! Oh. We are using this nice little microphone arm that is very good, very flexible. So everything is quite good and well. And at least you can understand me. Let me just tilt that just a bit so we can have a little fun now. I can actually see and move things around. And with that said, guess what? Time for a little spots. Football, and more football. That's right. And boy, have we had some good games, and then the Lions just stood up. Shall we begin the begging? Here we go. Let's take you to the stadiums. And once again, this is sort of our medium version. For a couple of weeks, we've had a little problem, but I'm glad to say that problem has since been corrected. And Monday Night Quarterback is back after a few little disasters. So Monday night, you're going to get your full of football recaps. All right, let's do the scores in our mini cap. Well, Bill Belichick might be wanting to find out what's heating up his tuchus, because that seat's getting a little too hot for comfort. Patriots drop another one, this time to the Buffalo Bills, 24-21. The Patriots, Cam Newton, 174 yards. Harris had 16 rushing attempts for 102 yards, 1 touchdown. And Myers had 6 receptions for 58 yards. On the other side of the coin, Allen had 154 yards for the Bills. Singletary, 14 rushing attempts, 86 yards. And Diggs had 6 receptions for 92 yards. Final score, once again, Buffalo Bills 24, Patriots 21. In one of the most shocking games of the week, the Miami Dolphins beat up on the Los Angeles Rams 28-17. Goff passed for 355 yards and 1 touchdown. Henderson had 8 rushing attempts for 47 yards. Kupp made 11 receptions for 110 yards for the Rams. Meanwhile, the Dolphins and the debut of their newest quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, thank you. 93 yards, 1 touchdown. Gaskin went 18 rushing attempts for 47 yards and a touchdown. And Smythe had 2 receptions for 16 yards. The Lions, hey, we're in week 8. That technically means we have hit the halfway point of the season, technically. 8 weeks down and 8 more to go. plus 1. So it's about 9 weeks left. Anyway, the Indianapolis Colts went to Ford Field to meet the hungry Detroit Lions, and guess what? The Colts beat up the Lions 41-21. Rivers passed for 262 yards and 3 touchdowns. Wilkins, 20 rushing attempts for 9 yards and 1 touchdown. Hines, 3 receptions, 54 yards and 2 touchdowns. For the Lions, Matthew Stafford, not a bad time, sort of. 336 yards, 3 touchdowns. Agnew, 1 rushing attempt for 11 yards. Hall, 4 receptions, 113 yards. Final score, Colts 41, Lions 21. I hate to be the Lion fans. Well, actually, I hate to be the Lions in general. Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 97.1 The Ticket is going to be the station of record again. I have a feeling Mike Valenti of 97.1 The Ticket is going to go apocalyptic on the disaster that is the Detroit Lions. Good luck. Now, Cincinnati Bengals defeated the Tennessee Titans 31-20. Tannehill passed for 233 yards and 2 touchdowns. Henry, 18 rushing attempts, 112 yards, 1 touchdown. Davis, 8 receptions, 128 yards, and 1 touchdown. Now, for the Bengals, Burrow had 249 yards, 2 touchdowns. Bernard, 15 attempts, 62 yards, and a touchdown. And Higgins had 6 receptions for 78 yards. Meanwhile, the Raiders, oh, baby, did they do good. They had a simple score. Raiders beat the Cleveland Browns 16-6. Carr passed for 112 yards, 1 touchdown. Jacobs had 31 rushing attempts for 128 yards. Waller, 5 receptions for 28 yards. For the Browns, Mayfield had a weak 122 on the yard department. Hunt, 14 rushing attempts for 66 yards. And Landry, 4 receptions for 52 yards. And another shocker, the Vikings beat the Packers 28-22. Kirk Cousins passed for over 160 yards and a touchdown. Cook had 30 rushing attempts for 163 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also made 2 receptions for 63 yards and a touchdown. Did I say 2 touchdowns? I meant 3 touchdowns for the rushing. Packers, the anointed one, Aaron Rodgers, went 291 yards for 3 touchdowns. Williams, 16 rushing attempts for 75 yards. And Toyin, 5 receptions, 79 yards. The Chiefs continue to win. The Jets continue to lose and pray that they go down enough to get that first-round draft pick. Chiefs over the Jets, 35-9. Chiefs are 7-1. Jets are 0-8. Darnold passed for 133 yards. Gore, which is how the Jets played, 10 rushing attempts for 30 yards. Mims, 2 receptions for 42 yards. For the Chiefs, Mahomes, and another MVP move, another MVP week. 416 yards, 5 touchdowns. Edwards, hell yeah. 6 rushing attempts for 21 yards. And Kelsey, 8 receptions, 109 yards, and 1 stinking touchdown. The Steelers, oh, did they have to work for their 7th win in a row without a defeat? They worked, and they did it. Barely. 28-24 over the Ravens. Roethlisberger, 182 yards, 2 touchdowns. Connor, 15 rushing attempts for 47 yards and a touchdown. Smith-Schuster, 7 receptions, 67 yards. For the Ravens, Jackson, 208 yards and 2 touchdowns. Dobbins, 15 rushing attempts, 113 yards. Snead, 5 receptions, 106 yards. Broncos took care of the Chargers 31-30. Herbert, 278 yards and 3 touchdowns. Jackson, 17 rushing attempts for 59 yards. Williams, 5 receptions, 99 yards and a touchdown. For the Broncos, Locke, 248 yards, 3 touchdowns. Lindsey, 6 rushing attempts for 83 yards and a touchdown. Hamilton, 4 receptions, 82 yards and a touchdown. Oh, this was America's Game of the Week, and boy, was it a good one. It went back and forth, side to side, up and down, in and out. Bears, Saints went to overtime. The Saints got them 26-23. This included a fight, and I mean punches were thrown. A Bears player that did most of the punching got ejected and maybe suspended and or fined and or both. We'll just have to wait what the NFL has to say. We'll do an explanation coming up on our headlines. But let's go through the mini report. Drew Brees, 280 yards, 2 touchdowns. Kamara, 12 rushing attempts for 67 yards. He also had 9 receptions for 96 yards. For the Bears, Foles had big-time trouble tonight. In fact, the coach of the Bears had to call up Mitch Trubisky to play most of the game. Montgomery, 21 rushing attempts for 89 yards. Robinson, 6 receptions, 87 yards, and 1 touchdown. Final score, 26-23 in overtime, Saints over the Bears. The Seahawks almost lost it, but they found it, and they beat the 49ers 37-27. Mullins, 238 yards, 2 touchdowns. Hasty, 12 rushing attempts for 29 yards and a touchdown. Ayuk, 8 receptions, 91 yards and a touchdown for the Seahawks. Wilson, 261 yards and 4 touchdowns. Dallas, 18 rushing attempts for 41 yards and a touchdown. Metcalf, 12 receptions, 161 yards and 2 TDs. The party bus may be no more, and so too will the Cowboys coach may be no more. Philadelphia Eagles embarrassed the Cowboys 23-9. Excuse me for a moment. Put up the head. Yeah. 23-9, the final score. Eagles win it. DiNucci for the Cowboys passed for 180 yards. Elliott, 19 rushing attempts for 63 yards. Gallup, 7 receptions, 61 yards for the Eagles. Wentz, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns. Scott, 15 attempts, rushing, 70 yards. Fulgham, 6 receptions, 78 yards, 1 touchdown. And, of course, the Thursday night tilt-a-roo. Falcons over the Panthers, 25-17. Ryan, 281 yards. Hill, 11 rushing attempts, 55 yards. And Jones, 7 receptions, 137 yards. For the Panthers, Bridgewater, 176 yards and a touchdown. Davis, 13 attempts at 66 yards and more. 2 receptions, 55 yards. And that is our mini recap. Join us Monday night when we return with the Monday Night Quarterback. But right now, let's take you back to the headlines with details. And we got mostly NFL reports, so here we go. Here we go. Here comes Speed Racer. The Steelers. Whoa. Pittsburgh Steelers are the NFL's only remaining undefeated team thanks to their importance in the AFC North victory over the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday, and now they're welcoming reinforcements to the league's best defense. According to Jason LaConfora, CBS Sports NFL insider, the team has acquired linebacker Avery Williamson from the New York Jets ahead of Tuesday's trade deadline, pending a restructure of the veteran's contract. Per ESPN's Adam Schefter, the Jets will receive the Steelers' 2022 fifth-round draft pick in exchange for Williamson, and New York attempting to trade Williamson for more than a year, according to Manish Mehta. Pittsburgh, meanwhile, has been speculated as a logical landing spot for the 7-year veteran after the Steelers lost Devin Bush to a torn ACL in Week 6. The 28-year-old Williamson originally joined the Jets as one of the club's top free agent signings in 2018, a 4-year starter with the Tennessee Titans prior to relocation to the Big Kentucky product had been mostly a steady defender when healthy. Although he missed all of 2019 with a torn ACL, Williamson logged at least 100 tackles in 3 of his first 5 NFL seasons and has been especially active in 2020, racking up 56 tackles, 3 pass deflections, interceptions, 7 starts for the Jets. Now, Williamson, who will become a free agent following the season, figures to step in as an immediate contributor on Pittsburgh's D, where the team has called upon reserve Robert Spillane to fill Bush's inside linebacker spot in recent weeks. Not bad. Not bad, not bad, not bad. And here we go, go. Let's see, college basketball before we get into everything else. Legendary Oklahoma coach, TCU and Lamar basketball coach Billy Tubbs passed away at the age of 85. Here we go. Tubbs' family announced this past Sunday afternoon in a statement on OU's Twitter page, wherein they revealed he had been battling a form of leukemia since 2015. Tubbs won 609 games as a college basketball coach during an illustrious career that spanned from the late 70s to the early 2000s. His biggest success came at OU, where he went 333 and 132 as Sooners coach from the 80s to the 90s, in 1980 to 1994. During his time in Norman, Oklahoma, he won 2 Big 8 tournament titles, 4 Big 8 regular season races, and led OU to 9 NCAA tournament appearances in that span. He led the program to 2 Elite 8 appearances, and in 88 helped the Sooners break through to the national title game. They lost 83-79 in the final to Kansas. The team widely remembered as Danny and the Miracles, reference to Danny Manning and his otherworldly performance throughout the tournament. Tubbs began his career at Lamar, where he finished off his playing career in 1957 as an assistant coach. He left the school in 1971 for Southwestern, but returned in 1976 to become the head coach. He then left Lamar in 1980 for Oklahoma, but as fate would have it, Lamar got his final coaching energies. He returned to coach there in 2003 and formally retired in 2011. The school dedicated the Montagny Center for the Billy and Pat Tubbs Court, named in the honor of him and his wife. Now, at Lamar, he found success few others could have. He led the Cardinals to 3 regular season championships in the late 70s, twice led them to NCAA tournament appearances. Their only Sweet 16 appearance in the history of the program came under his watch, when in 1980, they took out Weber State and Oregon State before falling to Clemson. Per Lamar, Tubbs was scheduled to hold a Facebook Live event on November 10th to talk about LU basketball and their careers. Tubbs coached a total of 17 NBA draft picks, 7 All-Americans, including legendary in-state star Wayman Tisdale, and twice won National Coach of the Year honors. He coached a quick, efficient, and electric band of basketball that matched his personality. As the Tulsa World's Bill Hastings wrote, Tubbs was known for his colorful personality, quick wit, and verbal battles with game officials. He was known for great offensive basketball. Quote, while Billy will always be known for having teams with legendary players who wreaked havoc on defense and scored a lot of points, he'll also be remembered for his quick-witted humor and charm, Oklahoma Athletic Director Joe Castiglione said in a statement. His one-liners and joyful charisma helped define the persona of the coach we all loved. And that is one thing everyone should remember. All righty. More. Now, we told you there was a very ugly incident during the Bears Saints game on Fox's America's Game of the Week. Well, here it were. Javon Wims committed one of the uglier incidences seen in an NFL game this season and was just promptly ejected as the centerpiece of a third quarter brawl between the Chicago Bears and New Orleans Saints in a crazy melee. Williams tapped Chauncey Gardner-Johnson after a play and punched him in the helmet. As Gardner-Johnson waited for a penalty to be thrown, Wims punched Gardner-Johnson again before other players got involved in the scrum. Janoris Jenkins came to Gardner-Johnson's aid by jumping on Wims and wrestling him to the ground. Gardner-Johnson didn't now more, which led to a field goal that gave the Saints a third quarter lead. It was, and I state that again. Wow. I saw that game, and oh boy, I think Wims is going to be sitting out maybe 7 games. Roger Goodell has got to make an example. He's got to suspend this guy for the remainder of the season. If not that, him about half of his paycheck. That's just me. Okay, we are at 12:28 a.m. My gosh, we're looking good, aren't we? Yes, we are. And let's go to the Associated Press Top 25 of the week. That's right. Let's see if the Spartans got in it. If they did, let's see what happened there. And where does Michigan fall? Well, let's go to it. At number 25 is Liberty, 24 Auburn, 23 Michigan. That's a drop. Number 22 Texas, 21 Boise State, 20 USC, 19 Oklahoma, 18 SMU, 17 Iowa State, 16 We Are Marshall, 15th Coastal Carolina, 13th Indiana, 12th boys. 12th, Oregon. 11th, Miami of Florida. 10th, Wisconsin. 9th, BYU. 8th, Florida. 7th, Texas A&M. 6th, Cincinnati. 5th, Georgia. 4th, Notre Dame. 3rd, Ohio State. 2nd, Alabama. And again, still on top, number 1 Bow Wow City, Clemson. An exciting come-from-behind win seals number 1 for Clemson. And that's your top 25. Michigan State, but they join other teams unranked as we draw closer to the college football playoffs rankings. So we got some more NFL for you, and here it is. Ronnie Stanley, the Baltimore Ravens starting left tackle, was carted off the field during the first quarter of Sunday's game against the Steelers. Stanley, who on Friday signed a 5-year, $99 million extension, had his left leg placed in an air cast before he was carted off the field. It turns out, according to Coach John Harbaugh, Stanley will not return for the remainder of 2020 as a result of a broken ankle that will send the veteran to injured reserve. A 5-year vet, Stanley sustained the injury after getting inadvertently hit in the back of his leg by Pittsburgh linebacker T.J. Watt with under a minute remaining in the first quarter. Stanley was blocking Steelers defensive tackle Cameron Hayward when he sustained the injury. Stanley was replaced by D.J. Fluker, an 8-year veteran who signed with the Ravens this offseason. Along with Stanley, Ravens starting right guard Tyree Phillips was forced to leave Sunday's game after suffering an ankle injury during the first quarter. The 6th overall pick in the 2016 draft, Stanley had started in each of his 61 career regular season games. In 2019, he earned his first All-Pro nod after helping the Ravens rush for an NFL record 3,296 yards. It's time now, for first time ever, to grade week 8. And here we go. Yes, indeed. Do we have it? Yes, sir. Okay, let's grow to it. Let's get to it. Cincinnati over the Titans. The Titans got a C minus. They've had one of the worst defenses in the NFL this year, and a big reason for that is because they've struggled to rush the quarterback. And they can't stop anyone on third down. And both of those problems reared their ugly heads again this week. Despite going up against the depleted Bengals offensive line, the Titans didn't manage to sack Joe Burrow once. They also let the Bengals convert 10 to 15 times on third down. Offensively, although the Titans were able to move the ball, they made too many big mistakes, including a Ryan Tannehill interception in the Bengals end zone and a missed field goal by Stephen Gostkowski. The Bengals, ooh la la, did they go good? They got an A plus. Their defense played well. The offense was even better. What more can we say? But damn, these Bengals are good. Indianapolis and Detroit, 41-21. Indy wins it. The Colts get an A plus. The offense got off to a slow start, but then they turned on the proverbial jet engines after punting on each of their first 3 possessions. Philip Rivers caught, or should we say, Philip Rivers was en fuego, throwing 3 touchdown passes in the second quarter alone. 2 of those TD passes went to Nyheim Hines, who only had 3 catches in the game. Defensively, the return of Darius Leonard seemed to reinvigorate Indy as they forced 2 turnovers while sacking Matthew Stafford 5 times, with one of those coming from Leonard. One of the turnovers the defense forced was a pick 6 by Kenny Moore in the fourth quarter that basically iced the win for Indy. Meanwhile, the Lions get an E. They should get an F, actually. They kept the game close, but once again, second half, the Colts later turned into a touchdown. On the Lions' next offensive play, Stafford threw a pick 6, and all of a sudden, the 2014 lead by the Colts was up to 35-14. In Stafford's defense, he got no help from his run game. They finished with just 29 rushing yards or his offensive line. Stafford was sacked 5 times. Minnesota 28-22 over Green Bay. Minnesota got an A, while the Packers got a C, which should have been a D minus. Let's start with the Vikings. With the Vikings season on the line, Dalvin Cook put the team on his back and carried them to victory. Cook bulldozed through the Packers' defense for 4 straight quarters with 163 yards and 3 touchdowns on 30 carries. That is a mighty big career day for most backs, but Cook actually added even more production in the passing game with 63 receiving yards and a touchdown. The Vikings bend but don't break defense also deserves some credit for coming up with several huge plays, including 2 fourth-down stops in the second half and a strip sack of Aaron Rodgers on the Packers' final offensive play of the game that prevented a potential Green Bay comeback. On the other side of the coin, if this Packers team has one glaring weakness, it's the defense's ability to stop the run. Who they think they are, Detroit? The defense had no answers for Dalvin Cook and a Vikings rushing attack that gashed them up for 173 yards while averaging 51 yards per carry. Now, Aaron Rodgers kept the Packers in the game with 3 touchdown passes, but when your defense can't make a stop, then you got problems. Kansas City 35-9 over the New York Jets. Chiefs got A, Jets, there's nothing lower than an F, and to explain it would not be difficult. The Jets suck. And if Adam Gase wanted to keep his job, for Adam Gase, the coach who wants to keep his job, maybe he should have beat Kansas City instead of having Kansas City just stab him, give him the shiv. Meanwhile, on the Kansas City side, the Chiefs It was like watching a Super Bowl again. Patrick Mahomes was scrimmaging a high school team. It felt like it. The Chiefs quarterback basically spent 4 quarters toying with the Jets defense in a game where he threw for 416 yards and 5 touchdowns. Ironically, one of the best passes in the game for KC wasn't even thrown by Mahomes. With the Chiefs clinging to a 7-3 lead early in the game, Andy Reid called for a fake punt on 4th and 4 that ended with punter Tommy Townsend completing a 13-yard pass for Brian Pringle. The Chiefs ended up scoring a TD on the drive and coasting to the win. Miami 28-17 over the Rams. Rams got an F grade. Maybe the Rams were overconfident, but they shouldn't have been for a couple of reasons. The first is because despite that their impressive record, they're in third place in the loaded NFC West standings, and they couldn't afford to drop one in Week 8. The second is, well, the Dolphins are 3-3 on the season. They have shown that they have a defense that can get after the quarterback and a secondary that can delete multiple receivers. The Rams found this out the hard way, and their demise at Hard Rock Stadium was largely accountable to how disturbingly bad Jared Goff was. 4 turnovers in the first half alone helped bury the Rams, and they couldn't come back from the dead once the coffin door slammed in the second quarter. Meanwhile, the Dolphins, A+. They entered the game as a 3.5-point underdog on their own field, but that's not how they played. The Dolphins had a huge chip on their shoulder, and they used that anger to slap the Rams around at will in the first half, recovering from an early fumble by Tua Tagovailoa with an onslaught of defense and special teams play that propelled them to a 28-17 win that wasn't nearly as close as the score indicates. It took all 3 phases of the game to get the win for the Dolphins, and while Tagovailoa didn't have the gleaming first start many would have hoped. His first career NFL touchdown came after Jared Goff interception and was timely in helping to establish momentum for Miami. In the end, this was a dismantling at the hands of Brian Flores and his overlooked offense and defense and Dolphins. In other grades, Buffalo over New England, 25. It's got a C. They should have gotten a D-. And Bill Belichick may be wondering if he's overstayed his welcome. Meanwhile, the Bills got a B for their play. Pittsburgh 28-24 over Baltimore. Steelers got a lowly A, while the Ravens got a C. And Vegas over Cleveland 16-6. Raiders got a B. Browns got an F. Denver over the Chargers 31-30. Chargers got a score of an F, while the Broncos hit a B+. New Orleans 26-23 in overtime over Chicago. Saints, I wouldn't have given them an A-. I would have given them an A. Bears should have gotten a D, especially for that fight. That fight was uncalled for. Seattle over the 49ers, 37-27. Seahawks an A-. 49ers a D. I got to agree with that. Philadelphia over Dallas, 23-9. Eagles a C-, should be a B-, while the Dallas Cowboys should get an F. What happened to them? And there's your big old lineup there. And I'm going to say this. Nick Rekida's got a special Sunday show that is about 41 minutes. He's 41 minutes into. Got some good stuff for you. It's on Rekida Law Channel here on YouTube. Law Splaining the Interwebs Sunday edition. So that, folks, is your cheesy plug of the night. Meanwhile, in Major League Baseball, ready? Sunday was an important date in the 2020-2021 off-season calendar. It was a deadline for teams to tender their eligible free agents. The qualifying offer, 6 players received the QO prior to the 5 p.m. deadline. Their teams announced Reds righty Trevor Bauer, Giants righty Kevin Gausman, Yankees infielder DJ LeMahieu, Phillies catcher JT Realmuto, Astros outfielder George Springer, and Mets righty Marcus Stroman. All those players that I named are among the top free agents available this winter and are good bets to reject the QO and seek a larger payday elsewhere. Gausman getting prize, though he pitched well with San Francisco after signing a 1-year deal worth $9 million last offseason. The Giants and Gausman are discussing a multi-year contract, reports Andrew Baxley from The Athletic. Gausman could accept the QO if the two sides don't reach a deal. Stroman opted out of the season because of COVID-19 concerns. He could accept the QO as he might find it beneficial to delay free agency by a year. Now, in the hopes that the market eases up a bit by that time, the Mets are very much in need of rotation help, and given the likely willingness of new owner Steve Cohen to invest in payroll, the club will not be disappointed if Stroman does accept the QO. The QO, in essence, a 1-year offer that once tendered by the team cannot be withdrawn. The salary is set at the average of the top 125 Major League Baseball salaries each year. And for 2021, the QO is set at $18.9 million, which is up from last year's figure of $17.8 million. If the player offered a QO accepts it, then he's under contract for a subsequent season. The team that his former team may be entitled to compensation of draft picks. However, not every outgoing free agent can be tendered a QO. Players who played for more than one team during their walk year are ineligible. This often applies to walk year players dealt leading up to the trade deadline. Players who have previously received a QO cannot receive a QO again. In this year's free agent class, this rule applies to Nelson Cruz, Marcell Ozuna, and Justin Turner, among others. So, the deal of the Yankees, Marcus Semien, and Liam Hendriks of the Athletics, Didi Gregorius of the Phillies, and Michael Brantley of the Astros. Players presented with the QO have 10 days to accept or reject. Wow. And that is incredible. Let me move this way. There you go. I mean, this isn't bad. All righty. Let's keep going. Let's go to our NASCAR report. And this is a great one because, well, the son finally got to do something the father did not do, winning a grandfather clock. For the first time in his career, Chase Elliott is headed to the Championship 4. NASCAR's most popular driver led a race 236 laps and won the round of 8 finale at Martinsville to secure his shot at the title next week in Phoenix. Let's see. Elliott joins Joey Logano as drivers to win their way into the Championship 4 this season, while Denny Hamlin and Brad Keselowski both advanced on points. Regular season champion Kevin Harvick shockingly fell short after a disappointing showing on Sunday, partly due to a flat tire suffered in Stage 2. Harvick was within a point of Hamlin and Keselowski on the final lap and needed to pass Kyle Busch in order to advance. The number 4 then spun out after contact with the number 18, heading to the start-finish line, sealing his fate. Harvick was considered a lock to make it to Phoenix and was the championship favorite entering the race at William Hill Sportsbook. He entered the round with the most points, but ultimately was knocked out with Elliott winning. Harvick wasn't the only team that faced adversity at the race. Hamlin was also in danger of falling out of the playoffs despite winning 7 races this season. The number 11 team had to pit twice to tighten lug nuts late in the race after winning the first stage, but ultimately was able to work his way enough towards the front to secure his spot. Ironically, it was the three drivers with the most wins in the series who were in the biggest danger of being eliminated on Sunday. Keselowski, who had 4 race wins this season, nearly saw his season come to an end after he was caught speeding on pit road. Another major penalty that almost impacted the result of the race actually was assessed to the eventual winner, Elliott, who was making a pit stop in the final stage, and NASCAR ordered the number 9 team to the rear for a crew member over the wall too soon. The team quickly appealed the penalty and saw it rescinded. NASCAR explained the decision to media members, saying that the crew member in question reestablished his position back to the service wall prior to servicing the penalty. TJ Jackman made a mistake and he was heads up to go back and fix it. Elliott said, if he hadn't done that, I don't think we would have been able to win. Elliott took the lead from Martin Truex Jr., who led 129 laps with less than 50 laps to go. Shortly after that, reported a loose wheel. He kept the car on track for about a dozen more laps before ultimately having to pit. That put him multiple laps down and ended his chances of making the championship 4. Kurt Busch and Alec Bowman finished 5th and 6th respectively, but ultimately were not able to advance. Bowman had an outside chance of clinching on points entering the race, while Busch was in a must-win situation. The first driver to punch his ticket to Championship 4 was Logano. Despite having nothing to race for but a win, he still managed to finish the race 3rd. And that is all there is. The championship, as we said, Sunday from Phoenix, live on NBC. It's 12:49. We have some time. We're going to say hi to my friends on Facebook, the Gram, and Twitter. But first, we remind you for the second to final time that because of election coverage everywhere else in the free world, we're only going to be on the air for a half hour, 45 minutes, not the full hour, because the election is of more importance now more than ever. So we will have a short program so we can all find out together who will be our next president. Will it be the present president, or will it be Joe Biden? We'll find out maybe on Tuesday as America votes and America decides. Okay, we're ready on the Facebook end, and here we go. We say hi to Anne-Marie Mann, Yuki Tanaka, Jay the Brain Man, Matthew Nichols, Jerry Nichols, Nancy Nichols, Ricky Pickrell, Crystal Hart, Cleo Glide, Brutal Metzler, Angela Peterson, Christina Peterson, Eitan G, the Jewish rapper, Yvonne Marie, Alan Oberoff, Brendan Gaminsky, my mom, Sharon Baxley, Matthew Nichols, we already mentioned, Amy Hayes, Frida Hayes, Morris Hayes, Tony Pickrell, Bobby Langford, Monica Cram, Casey Ann, Samantha O'Neill, Sammy Phillips, Sarah Chavez, Jacqueline Fleming, and Liberty Lang. Brenda Dixon, January J. Keaton, and Little Dixie. And as I said, Samantha Phillips. And Michael Pickrell, Randy West, Joseph Schwartz. And they got a new wrestling group, which is doing gangbusters. We say hello to everyone on Facebook. Let's now go to the group over at Twitter. And by the way, we welcome Brenda Dixon to the Twitter family. She is going to be, she is welcomed with open arms, mainly mine. So we say a big old-fashioned how do you do to the following on Twitter, my good friends on the Twitter. Alex Sims, Audrey Dahlgren, Nick Mantis, all the gang over at WLNS TV6, Donnelly Keith, Tom Zitzka, and Dr. Jim and Melissa Wilson, everybody on Fox 26 in the beautiful Houston, Texas. Mandy Summers, Peter Oeda, Louisa Fernanda, Dan Leach, Casey Lennox, Ivy McKellen, Sean Broyles, Lydia Cornell, Lena Gwynn, Kellyanne Collins, and if that doesn't help, Lucy Nolan, Elaine Boozler, Brad Shepard, and Peter Gilmore. Yep. Wyatt Holiday. And of course, we say John Mallon, all the good folks. Charlie's London and her hubby, and her and her husband. How you doing? Hmm. 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 And we say hello to all. Like I'm going to say hello to a drink of water. That was good. And finally, on Twitter, we say hello to Dorothy Malone, Courtney Lynn Elwood, Raina Love, sorry, Francia Jones, Claudia Trejos, darling, how are you? Lisa Guerrero, Silver Harpetian, Audrey Dogren. I've already mentioned her. She's also on Twitter. So are most of the groovy folks over there at TV6 and Fox 26 in Houston. We also say hello to Stacey Hayes, the Queen of Lingo. We say howdy. And by the way, the Dorothy Malone show is coming to YouTube, and we can't wait to promote the Hexinky out of that. Madison Riley, how you doing? Emerald Morrow. Oh, Presley and Taylor, how you ladies doing tonight? Tess Broussard, howdy. Tammy Futhy, how you doing? And First Lady 58, Kimberly Wells and company, Albany, Kezia Noble, and a whole lot more people saying hi to me. And we say hi to AJ Katz, to Ani Jutul, to Portia Coleman, to, of course, Flocka America, Beth McLeod, Mariel Lou over at Fox 2, and Gabriel Info, Mirka Delanos, and Nadia G. Star, and Ava Fiore, Cleats and Cleavage herself, Sydney Wolf. How you doing? Jennifer Jimenez. As I said, Lisa Guerrero. And there you go. We got some time. Yes, we do have time. Let's give you the scoreboard, and then we will say our good nights to you, good friends. And I just want to say this before we leave the air. Best $10 I ever spent. It feels good to have my hands free to do some things instead of putting a microphone on this, which we had to do. See, I couldn't do anything, but now Bam, bam, bam. I love it. I can't help it, but I love it. Speaking of things to love, we got time. We can do it. It's time for the scoreboard. That's right. Here we go. There we go. There we go, folks. It's time for the scoreboard. That's right. I sort of like this. This feels good to me. It does, really. How you doing? Okay, we got some time. You got the moolah? No, but we do have time. Let's take you now to the scoreboard as we take you to some of the game not actually covered by the rest of the sports media, except by us. There may be others that do, but still, we make all sports a part of this show. So right now we go to soccer in the Premier League. Southampton over Aston Villa 4-3. Newcastle over Everton 2-1. Manchester United losing to Arsenal 1-0. Tottenham over Brighton 2-1. In the Bundesliga, Bayer Leverkusen over Freiburg 4-2. Hertha Berlin and Wolfsburg tied at 1. In Italy, Serie A, it was AC Milan over Udinese 2-1. Juventus over Spezia 4-1. Lazio over Torino 4-3. Roma over Fiorentina 2-0. Sassuolo over Napoli 2-0. And Sampdoria and Genoa ended in a 1-1 tie. In Espanol, La Liga, Betis over Elche 3-1. Real Sociedad over Celta Vigo 4-1. Granada and Levante ended in a 1-1 tie. Valencia and Getafe ended in a 2-2 tie. Let me move this out of the way. All right, in Italy basketball, Virtus Bologna beat up Venezia 83-68. Olimpa Milano over Trento 82-75. In overtime, Pesaro over Cremona 95-83. Cesari over Verase 104-82. Brindisi over Fortitudo Bologna 174. For Espanyol ACB basketball, Unicaja 82-76 winners over Obradorio Cab. Juventud Badalona 97-70 winner over Estudiantes. Fuenlabrada beat San Paulo Burgos 99-78. Real Madrid over Valencia 86-78. Barcelona over Tenerife 81-74. And Baskonia over Gran Canaria 75-71. In Japanese baseball, the Hiroshima Carp over the Chinichi Dragons 3-0, 3-9-0 for the Carp, 0-7-1 for the Dragons. Yanagi got the loss for the Dragons. He's 5-7. Murashita got the win. He's 10-3 for the Carp. The Yokohama Bay Stars over the Hanshin Tigers 6-5, 6-11-1 for the Bay Stars, 5-13-1 for the Tigers. Mishima for the Bay Stars gets a win. He's 2-1. Edwards suffers a loss for the Tigers. He's 0-1. The Omuri Giants blank the Yakut Swallows 2-0, 2-4-0 for the Giants, 0-3-2 for the Swallows. Hataki gets the win for the Giants. He's 4-4. Suarez gets the loss for the Swallows. He's 4-4. And does that mean we're done? Yes, that does mean we are fini. We are done. We are fin. That's right. We're done. We're finished. And it's a good thing, too, because I think my hair decided to go the other way. that's going to wrap things up for us. We want to thank you all very much for tuning in. We're just getting started. We're just getting better. This proves it. Thank you all very much for watching. We'll talk to you on Monday. That's right. That's right, Matt Eddie. We have a new mic arm. Here it is. Pretty good, you know? Pretty good. And I never knew this thing actually moved. See? There we go. So we're good. And there you go. Let's sort of just lamp that up a bit. Yeah, right there. Thank you. Let's go wrap things up for us. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm Steve the Baxman Baxley. We'll see you Monday night right after Monday Night Football with a whole lot of stuff going on. Thank you for watching. Thank you for caring. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell them all that the sports final has found its groove. And no, we didn't have to do what Stella did to get our groove back. I'm Steve the Baxman Baxley as always. May your favorite teams always be winners. Good night, America. Whomever and wherever you is. This has been a presentation of Mystifying Creativity Productions for the L2C Media Network and L2C Sports along with YouTube. Yeah, third. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you and talk to you on Monday. It's football on Monday night. And, oh, does it feel so good. My hands can finally motivate the buttons here on the laptop. It feels so good. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Good night. Blessings. And as you always, be well. Good night, everybody. And that's it. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.